Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
What's up, guys? Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and welcome to my The Bad Batch Season 3, Episodes 1 through 3 reaction/review video. My overall thoughts here about these overall episodes of Season 3. Of course, we're going to go ahead and hop right on into it. Before we do, though, however, grab that subscribe button if you haven't already, as we're discussing and covering all types of Star Wars-related news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns here on the channel. So if you guys are into any of that, go ahead and grab that subscribe button today. Okay, so first things first, let's address the elephant in the room. I've been blessed these last 2 weeks to have been just absolutely jam-packed and busy with a lot of awesome projects and a lot of work going on. As you guys know, I am in the film industry, so I've had a lot of other shoots that I've actually been having the beautiful opportunity to attend and work on in the last 2 weeks. And that is why this video has taken so long, and I actually just finally got around to being able to sit down and relax and watch The Bad Batch Season 3. Its first 4 episodes now, as the 4th episode is also out. I'll have another separate video here on the channel discussing that a little bit later. Also, the obvious, yes, clearly there are spoilers ahead for The Bad Batch Season 3's first 3 episodes, if that wasn't already a given, but if you're looking for a non-spoiler kind of review, go watch it. It's absolutely awesome, and it's a bit slow at first, but I love that they had released those first 3 episodes kind of all conjoined as one. Very similar, and reminds me to how Andor Season 1 was released with its first 3 episodes coming out. Of course, obviously nowhere near the same runtime, where each of those episodes of Andor were like roughly 45 minutes to an hour long. In comparison, all first 3 episodes, much rather, of The Bad Batch Season 3 are around that half-hour mark. They're still very lengthy episodes for, Star Wars animation, and for The Bad Batch, usually those episodes run closer to 20 minutes long. Nonetheless, it was all killer, no filler. Everything that really went on had progressed the plot of having Omega and Crosshair escape the Jedi, or the Mount Tantus compound here, much rather. Each, scene throughout that show, or throughout the first 3 episodes, had led these characters to some importance, to them escaping and to them reuniting eventually, evidently, with the rest of the Bad Batch, and I can't wait for episode 5 to see how all of that pans out there as well, but we'll discuss that in a separate video here on the channel, of course. Honestly, one of my only big complaints that I've ever had about the Bad Batch animated show is, the idea of having some of those filler episodes, just episodes that just don't matter. I mean, yeah, they're fun in the scheme of things, and they are kind of there to branch apart the different episodes, and kind of conjoin them into different conglomerates, essentially, and different waves, essentially, but they are still filler episodes nonetheless. They're still fun at the end of the day, of course, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to hate on them, but they don't have anything to do with the overarching story, especially for this whole idea of Mount Tantus. We spent a lot of time on Mount Tantus in these first 3 episodes, and we're able to learn so much more about everything that was going on here, with, Emperor Palpatine and his whole project, Hemlock and his whole idea for what he has going on, the whole idea and the project of how they want to clone Omega and how they do want to use her, kind of confirming the long-awaited fan theory of how Omega is going to be used for actual cloning. In this video, I want to take a quick read from StarWarsNewsStat.com. I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. I'll have their article linked in the description down below. We also have our merch shop up live and running with a link in the description down below with some cool designs, so go check it out. 2 of the 3 episodes of The Bad Batch Season 3, which are now available to stream on Disney Plus, of course, focus on what is going on inside Mount Tantus, highlighting Omega's attempt to rescue and escape, also the scientific research performed by Dr. Royce Hemlock and Dr. Emery Carr, who has been proven to be more of a foe than a friend, as a lot of people had their, fan theories, of course, at the end of Season 2, revealing that she's just like Omega and the rest of the Bad Batch, a genetically mutated clone, essentially, under the not-so-loyal supervision of Nala Se, all at the same time as well. Everything that took place in those 2 episodes, specifically on Mount Tantus, which were episodes 1 and episode 3, was as compelling as the best moments from the previous 2 seasons of the animated show. It is all when the focus is shifted towards Hunter and Wrecker that the pacing slows down a bit for a minute, but that isn't a bad thing, don't get me wrong, and from everything of what their article is reading, of course, as well, more of their words, not mine. And it doesn't feel as exciting, but nonetheless, it is still interesting in my thoughts thoughts and opinions. Please, guys, if it wasn't already obvious, the comments are open. Let me know what you guys are all thinking in the comments down below. I would love to hear what you guys are all thinking and discuss with you guys. The overall storyline of these 3-episode plays, for the most part, as one would have expected going in, yet the writers still managed to keep us in the suspense thanks to the new developments on long-running storylines making a comeback from those first 2 seasons. Not just that, but outside of that, things and kind of storylines that we've heard around from the Mandoverse, from the Mandalorian show, namely about the Imperial cloning plans as well, though, specifically. We'll get into some more detail a little bit more in just a moment. The main takeaway for now is that fans of the first 2 seasons will probably be more than satisfied with the 3-episode premiere. Even them, StarWarsNewsStat.com, and myself, of course, who has probably liked less than half of the episodes in the series thus far, in the first 2 seasons, of course, found myself thoroughly enjoying these, especially episodes 1 and 3. I'm not very picky. I've always enjoyed The Bad Batch, of course, and its first 2 seasons as well. As I kind of already touched on, though, however, yeah, there are some filler episodes that just aren't as interesting. I think we all kind of can agree on the fact that episode 2, the Hunter and Wrecker centric episode, is very straightforward, and to how everything plays out into that, kind of really more than less just like a pulse check on those characters, like what have they been up to, especially given that there's been a time jump now of about 6 months. As far as Omega and Crosshair go, though, however, there's a lot that's going on with them. We would have guessed that we should start with the elephant in the room first. We finally have confirmation that Omega seems to be Force sensitive. I'll have a whole nother video discussing more on this in a separate future video here on the channel. All the more reason to grab that subscribe button if you haven't already, which itself is so much more fascinating of a concept that will likely go under development during the last season of the show. It's been a long-running kind of fan theory for the first 2 seasons. Honestly, ever since the season premiere of The Bad Batch back in 2021, this is something that's been kind of crossing the minds of many fans. Is Omega supposed to be Force sensitive? And it seems that that is the case, actually. In turn, that feels like something that you introduce at the beginning of the story, though, however, not at the top of the 3rd act. But we don't want to judge them now for that, as there are still many unanswered questions that we still have to get to. Also, Nala Se seems to be the key to addressing them as well. For the dramatic purposes, we suspect that we will not be seeing a reunion between the Kaminoan scientists, Nala Se, and the young female clone, Omega, but we do wish them to be wrong on that, and that those 2 characters would be able to reunite at least one last time, especially with a proper goodbye. One thing that I've really enjoyed with these first couple of episodes is the way that all of these episodes really flow into one another. It doesn't feel like there's any much of a dramatical beat, or much rather any kind of time jumps or time skips between these episodes, and we're kind of sticking with the characters. It really engrosses you all so much more in all of it. Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, guys. I would love to hear what you guys are all thinking. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Of course, this has been Unofficial Star Wars. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.